Thank you for coming today. One of the things I was thinking about, told you this the other day, is that for people in our church, people in our group, the context of who we minister to, we have a lot of people that are in recovery. We're in times right now, good or bad, that are making people really anxious. And so I wanted to just talk with you a bit and have you just speak out just from your mind, from your heart, to people that may be struggling right now, that may be on the verge of relapse, that maybe have already relapsed and they're coming to a position where they don't know where to go. I understand a lot of the meetings have closed down.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
They're pretty much closed statewide. There are some online meetings that people can go to through Zoom. If they wanted any information, I'll be glad to provide it. They can download Zoom to their phone or to a laptop or a PC, and then they can log in. There are Zoom meetings being held here in Oklahoma City at 7 a.m., noon, and then 7 p.m. every night. So there are Alcoholics Anonymous meetings available for anybody that needs one or wants one.
And we're going to put those in the description of this YouTube link, video, later, and so you'll be able to see that as you're watching this video, because we want to get support out there to people.
Okay. For me, Alcoholics Anonymous it's a huge help, and it teaches me that my sobriety is dependent on some daily maintenance. So I'm given a daily reprieve based on me doing some certain set of things. I don't have to do everything, but there are some certain things that I have to do. So for me, every day when I wake up, the first thing I do is I say a set of prayers. I say my third step prayer, I say the Lord's Prayer, and then I say the set aside prayer. And then I get up, and then I meditate, and then I run or I work out for physical. And when I'm doing that, my mind goes not blank, but all my pressure and everything goes through my head, and I can kind of release it. So for a lot of people, exercise is really good, especially right now since you're going to be locked up, or cooped up, so to speak. But in Alcoholics Anonymous, they teach you to believe in a power greater than yourself. And being in AA, they tell you that it's your decision, your choice of who that power greater is of. It could be Buddha, it could be God, it could be Jesus, it could be a number of entities that you want. AA does not push any different one on you. But if you don't believe there's a power greater than yourself, I can tell you this: go out in the middle of the street, get butt naked, and see if a power greater than yourself doesn't come pick you up and throw you in jail. There's always a power greater than yourself, straight up. Yeah. So my power greater than myself is God, Jesus. When I was in prison, I had everything that anybody in prison wanted. I was dealing drugs in prison. I had a fat locker. I had a fat sack, and I came to the end of myself. I was about to get out. I was scared. I didn't know. I was about to get out. My family wanted nothing to do with me. Nobody was helping me. I had nowhere to go. The only person even talking to me was my ex-dealer. And he wanted to give me a pound of ice. Get out here, come back out, do this. And I was at what they call the jumping off point, which is I couldn't imagine my life with drugs and alcohol, and I couldn't imagine my life without drugs and alcohol. I didn't know how to live without drugs and alcohol. I had no clue how to live a normal life. And so I did now what later was described to me as a moment of clarity, where I prayed and I just said, hey, look, God, if you want me to quit using drugs and alcohol, you're going to have to take it from me, because I can't do it. I've tried it a million different ways, a million different times. My parents sent me to every rehab in the country. The state of Oklahoma locked me up for 11 calendars. And I was in prison using it on a day, every day. Every day I was in prison, I was high. It's up until March 17 of 2017. That's the day I literally prayed to God and asked God to take it from me. The next morning I woke up, I gave my sack away. People looked at me like I was crazy. I haven't smoked a cigarette since. I haven't smoked meth since. I haven't drank alcohol since. And it taught me a valuable lesson when I was the most needy in the fact that I was scared. I was afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I had nowhere to go, but I knew if I went back out and I started selling drugs again, I was going to end up right back where I was. I didn't want to end up back in prison around, you know what I mean? And so for me, the hope was in God, Jesus. He saved me. You know, he took mercy upon me. He took from me the allergy of the body and the obsession of the mind. And Alcoholics Anonymous kind of describes that. And, you know, the 12 steps were, man, they're vitally crucial to me. I'd read the big book numerous times before, but I'd actually never done the steps. I'd read it and I'd always thought, man, knowledge. I got knowledge. So next time I know I can't drink, so next time I'm just gonna smoke pot. Or next time, you know, I'm just gonna use a little bit of meth, no alcohol. And I tried every combination possible to be successful and to be a successful addict and alcoholic, but the same thing kept happening, which is the consequences. Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I love the way drugs and alcohol make me feel. I got high and drunk because of the phenomenon that it had on my body, the effect that it had on my body. I guess I'm a little different than everybody else. I didn't drink or use to forget stuff or had a bad life. I had a wonderful life. I had a wonderful childhood. I liked it the way it made me feel, you know? And so for me, it was even scarier, you know what I'm saying? But like I said at first, we have a daily reprieve based on some maintenance. You know, I get up every morning, I do my deal, and then my major concern is I keep this thing in my wallet every day. Whenever I have any doubt or negativity, I pull out this little piece of paper that says what my goal in life is. And my goal in life is to be of maximum service to God and other human beings, and to be a successful business person, both financially and by helping others. And anytime I try to go through negativity, I try to remember that. I pull it out and look at it. I mean, I'm not perfect, you know, but I have to remember who's in charge. It's not me. You know, I tried being in charge. I tried being in control because I'm a control freak. I still am. But I've learned that whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So no matter what, there's nothing I can do to change that. So I have to learn how to live right here, right now, in this moment right here. I can control this moment. I can control this second. You know, but if I look at my past, I get worrisome because, you know, and I get down because of all the stuff that I did to people, the bad things I did, and I remember that. And that sometimes would make me want to drink or use. And if I look to the future, I get worrisome because, man, what if this happens? What if that happens? And I can't do that. So anytime I try to do, anytime I do either one of those, I try to pull back and I live right here and right now. Because this second right here, I can stay sober. You know, so if you're struggling at this moment, just for a moment, just for a second, you can stay sober, and you can stay sober the next second and the next minute. Even if you got to do it minute by minute, hour by hour, until it builds up to days. You know, if you can stay in the moment, that's where it's at. You have to live in the moment. You can't live in the past. You can't live in the future.